Hey everyone, welcome back to This Takes the Cake. I'm Dallas. I'm back again, and I'm here with one of my favorite people in the world, Hanny Atlanty. Introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Hannah from Atlanta. I've been on a few times now.
Yeah,
I
you
feel like,
have. We're
yeah,
both returners. We're veterans of this
yeah.
podcast. Um, so Hannah is our franchise owner of Atlanta, Georgia.
Whoop, whoop.
She's been in the game for what, 2 years now? Like a year
Yeah,
and a half.
hot Atlanta. Yeah. 2 years in July.
Crazy because she blew up right away. Like I feel like you set a record for anyone who starts a franchise from now on. It just like she's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a little scary, not gonna
Oh my God.
lie.
Do you have any full-time people yet? Or
No, I just hired Sydney on part-time. Poor girl's probably more working full-time at this rate. So because she does like pretty much all of my weddings with me and like hours during the week. So like by the time the week ends, she's like on like 30 hours or something. I don't even know.
yeah,
So
that's so
um yeah, no, so we went through a full interview process for that. So I'm in the process of training her. It's been fun.
that's so fun.
It's a new learning curve.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't
being
know.
like having your own company, first of all, is like so it's a lot to learn, but also then managing other people and like having another, person to be responsible for that isn't like a child or a dog. Um,
Mostly dog. Um, yeah, no, it's hard. I just like I also want to like benefit her and I just like, am I doing this okay? I don't know, and but yeah, it's a lot. I don't know. I just 2.5 years ago, if you would have asked me, I would have been a boss and a business owner. I'd have been like, no. And then like literally my whole life changed, and now I like run a whole team, and they all like expect answers from me all the time, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Sometimes I don't know the answer.
I don't have that. So yeah, but I have a really and I hope they listen to this because I can brag on them. But I have a really great group of girls. Like I like got blessed so early. The first girl I ever hired on to do my first wedding with me is still with me.
That's so
Um,
nice.
yeah, she's the sweetest. She came to my wedding. Like, love her. Actually, the first two girls I ever hired on came to my wedding are still with me. And then I've just gained a team from there, and I can't. I don't know. I just have a really good team. I feel like I just
That's
got
really
really
lucky because I feel like, a lot of people you move to a new city and you don't know anyone and so you're just kind of like taking
lucky.
a chance on whoever is available and whoever you reach out to. And I know Caroline, she is in Tampa now, and she's like, that's one of the things she's worried about. She's like, I hope my roommates are nice because I'm gonna need help on these weddings.
I
But
know it's hard. Luckily, I moved with my fiance at the time, so like that kind of helped. Unlike
yeah,
poor Caroline, I was thinking
I
about that
know,
last night
I
about
know,
her just like all alone, just little Caroline.
crazy.
But I mean, he was so busy with work, and so like I kind of was in my own world over here. But you weirdly make friends in like the weirdest spaces, I don't. We're good friends with our like insurance guy now, and I did their
Oh, I
wedding.
love that.
Like you just don't ever know. So, um, but yeah, I mean, now I love Atlanta. Just I can't imagine not being here. We were in Charleston this past weekend and lived in Charleston, got married in
Yeah,
Charleston. So I know all about Charleston. Like it's kind of like a second home. But I was like, I'm ready to go back to Atlanta. Like,
yeah, you're a big Atlanta girl, and I think Atlanta's a really cool city. It's
it's a
definitely
bad
slowed
rap.
down a little bit.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap.
It does for no
Um,
reason, but like so many cool things come from Atlanta and Georgia in general. But
heck yeah.
it's a cool.
I mean, this is the new Hollywood.
It
Literally was
actually no, it literally is. Like everyone records music there now, and like uh, I'm thinking
TV.
TV, yeah, TV, movies. It's crazy, like
Everything's here.
everything.
Sports, all of it.
Oh
Like
yeah, do y'all have a NFL team?
the Falcons.
Oh shit, I didn't
Hmm
know that. Hannah, do you remember how we met each other?
I did. We were at the training last year. And you did your like little skit, if you remember
Yeah,
your little skit.
Yeah,
Crack me
we
up.
we had to make it was like a bonding activity, but we had to do like toilet paper wedding dresses. I don't know if I'm sure
Mhm.
everyone's done that before. And then
Yeah.
we had to like sell them to see who would, win. And I put on this mystery accent. It was a little bit of French and a little bit of German and a little bit of something else to sell my dress. And I remember
Yeah.
making her laugh, and I was like, hell yeah. Because Hannah and I are like the same age, and she likes Taylor Swift. And so it was my mission
Yeah.
to be friends with her. And then in Vegas, we roomed
Vegas.
together,
Yeah.
which was
Vegas
fun.
is
Me, you,
yeah.
Peyton, and Alyssa. And that was really fun.
Yeah. It was fun. Caroline kind of joined along as well, but
Yeah.
um yeah, it's fun. Carolina. I
Carolina.
loved it. Vegas was fun. I feel like Vegas, like both years were so like fun in their own ways and so different in their own ways. Like,
I'm glad I wasn't there the first Vegas because I've been told that I would have been super overstimulated and really like I heard it was a lot, but it was fun.
it was
There's
fun.
things
It
I
was
missed out on, like the photo shoot and the iconic red photo shoot in the metallic.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was very overstimulating. Like driving that bus out into the desert, I get very car sick and very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I looked over to Alyssa and I'm like, I've got to get off this bus. Like, if I don't get off this bus right now, I
It was like a
might.
2 hour drive or something, right? Or an hour drive.
Yeah. And then they kept freaking playing country music. And I hate
Oh
country
God.
music.
Yeah, she's not a country music girl. Sorry, my
Um,
was falling out.
so I was like, I was sick. I was overstimulated.
And I was
And
listening to country music.
I was listening to country music. And I was like, and we all had to get dressed on the bus. So like we're all trying to get in our Spanx on a bus
Uh-uh.
with a stripper pole between all of us.
Uh-uh. I
It
would have
was
I would have gotten
it
out in the desert and put that on.
it
I don't think.
and like the desert was like so hard to walk in. My feet were killing me.
I know there's a picture of Caroline in her like metallic dress, and she has her shoes off in the lobby of the hotel. And she said we were looking through a photo book of her the other day that Shelly made for Caroline.
Oh,
I know it was really sweet for her
that's so
parting
sweet.
gift. And it was a picture of her with the shoes, and she said, my feet have never hurt as bad as they do in that photo. I was like, wow, that's saying a lot because the dogs
Yeah,
bark every weekend. Um,
no, it was awful.
so you recently got married.
Okay,
Congratulations.
thank you. Well,
How's
you
it been?
came.
Newlyweds?
It's been good. It's I feel like we got married, we went on our honeymoon, fun, got back, and then our lives just like hit. Like
Yeah.
I mean, my busy wedding season came. I think I'm like 10 weddings deep right now, back to back.
Yeah.
I just, like, and he's so busy. But it's been really good. It's been a lot of fun.
Good.
I was back in Charleston this weekend, like I said, and it was my first weekend back there since the wedding, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the last time I
It's
was here, I was
silly because now
getting
every time you
married."
go, you're gonna think about getting married.
Yeah. But I missed the planning, but I'm also glad it's over, but it's fine. I'm just gonna plan some really good
Well,
birthday
you
parties.
started with SMB because you were an SMB bride, right?
Yeah.
Tell us
Mhm.
about that.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if yeah, okay. So Alyssa and I have a really good mutual friend, Alyssa and Charleston, and we have a really good mutual friend, and our significant other, Alyssa, Ben, and Justin for me, were in that mutual friend's wedding, and so Alyssa and I weren't obviously, and so we were like just kind of stuck together,
The
like
girlfriends.
the girlfriends of the
Yeah.
guys that like whatever. And at that time, I was interning for a wedding planner. I was still in college. Alyssa's a little bit older than me, so she like just bought SMB, I believe, and I was still in college interning for a planner. And she's like, "I'm a wedding planner." I was like, "I'm a wedding, well, I'm not a wedding planner, but I intern with a wedding planner."
Yeah.
And we totally like clicked, and then I just whenever like those friends would come see us, well, then I ended up graduating and moving to Charleston.
Mhm.
And funny enough, Alyssa and Ben lived one neighborhood over from me,
That's so
and which was a total coincidence. Like they bought their house the same time we were getting into our house, like in
yeah.
Cane Bay of in Somerville.
Mhm.
And so we like just kind of like randomly would see each other and like hang out or whatever. And then we got engaged and I like texted Alyssa. I was like, I guess I need a wedding planner.
Oh,
And then we were moving. Justin got his job in Atlanta. And at that time, I was enrolled in my master's. I was going to go get my master's. And then
what were you getting your
Alyssa,
master's in?
social work.
Oh my
Um, yeah, I wanted to be like in the school setting. Um, and then Alyssa, I was joking around with Alyssa and I was like, S&B doesn't have an Atlanta office. Like, and she was like, no, really though, like Sarah would totally talk to you. And I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
what? You know, and I literally will never forget that moment till the day I die. I was sitting in my empty house in Cane Bay, like scrubbing the baseboards of my house, like kind of getting it clean. Yeah. Because I'm OCD like that.
Yeah.
And I got that text and I called up Justin and I was like, I don't know if she's joking or like if she's being for real right now, but like, what are your thoughts on this? And he was like, do whatever you want to do. Like, you
Yeah.
know. So
Every time I
I
talk
think with
about it with Jake, he's like, just when are you gonna do it? He's ready to be a stay-at-home dad. He's ready to
Amen.
be a
So is
stay-at-home like
Justin.
cow dad.
So
Let's go.
is Justin, but Mr. Justin's over there about to get promoted, so he's about to be working even more. But
Yay!
and
Congratulations. Love
yeah,
that.
it's exciting. Our lives are crazy. We're also
Yeah,
moving this
seriously.
week, or well, next
Oh
week,
yeah, you are? Where are you moving? Into a house or into a
into a house. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be
So
nice.
yeah,
When do
it's
you want to move
probably not the best time to move, but our lease is up, so like I don't really have a choice. It's
to?
not
Yeah.
like but here we go. We're moving.
Are you
So
still in peak wedding season?
oh
Is
yeah,
it this kind of similar to South Carolina where spring is like the heaviest season?
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh
Do
yeah. I
you
have a
do
wedding.
you, sorry, go.
What? Oh, you go. You go.
I was gonna say, do you do a lot of weddings like in Atlanta proper, or is there a lot of surrounding area that's more like mountainous or
Oh yeah.
otherwise that you do?
I see it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like one weekend I'm smack dab downtown Atlanta and the next weekend I'm up in the mountains. Like I actually that's me this weekend, kid you not. This weekend I'm at the Four Seasons, which is downtown Atlanta. And then next weekend I'm up at the Revere, which is like
Total
boony
opposite. Yeah.
boony nowhere. But it's beautiful. It's I mean it's a luxury venue. But boony nowhere. And then the next weekend, I'm back in town, downtown for an Indian wedding. I
Yeah.
literally see it all.
That's
Um,
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
I wish we had more. We talk about it all the time, especially as like we start breaking into the corporate world of how we wish there were more indoor venues here. Besides, like we have one really nice hotel that we enjoy doing stuff at, but other than that, there's not a lot of like really nice indoor venues. So the
it's
city
not.
life,
You
I
don't.
love seeing the Atlanta photos. Like Atlanta and Chicago
Yeah.
weddings are two of my favorites because I love the like
Oh,
luxury like ballroom vibes that aren't like a hotel ballroom, but it is. You wouldn't know it unless
I do
you were
too.
there.
You would
Um,
love this weekend. You should have come to work with me.
I have to.
But
I'm going to a gala this weekend.
I know, because Sarah was supposed to come hang out with me this weekend. But um, bye, Sarah. I'm just kidding. It's fine. Yeah, I agree. I the tent life, I mean, like, it's just like it's fine. I worked a wedding in Charleston this weekend,
Mhm.
and it was tented, and which granted it was tented, but tent's built into the venue. It's not like I
Yeah.
ordered the tent,
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah. But I was just like, I mean, I loved it. It was beautiful, but I was just like, eh. And it's just like I don't know. I'm more of a ballroom kind of girly too. Like I like that vibe, and like Lauren, I think she would feel the same way. Like the coastal weddings are pretty. She obviously got married in
Yeah.
Myrtle,
Yeah. She
but
did.
I think she would pick what she has over, and so yeah, I love it and I just yeah, I like the indoor venues better, but I do see it all. Like I have a winery wedding coming up in September.
Oh, I love
Um
the vibe.
yeah. So I mean, I have the lake weddings. I've been out on the lake a lot. I've actually been on the
Tell
lake a
us
lot.
about the waterfall wedding, which is, by the way, if I were to have like a huge wedding or just a wedding in general, because we all know I eloped, it would be that. Like that is those
Yeah.
photos are some of my like dream photos.
Mhm.
They're literally viral on Pinterest. Like, tell us about it. How did it even work? How did you get everyone over there?
Are those viral on Pinterest?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My
Heck if I
girl,
knew that.
so some of my girls from home, they sent me one of them when I first started. She's engaged and she sent me a photo and she was like, "Is this you guys?" I was like, "Yeah, we're stuff from our Instagram." And she was like, "No, it's on Pinterest. It was suggested to her on Pinterest." I want to look on, there's like a thing on Pinterest that you can look at your business board and you can
Yeah.
see how many like reposts you have or saves. And I want to see that for ours because it's
Ooh.
being suggested to someone in Texas that like doesn't even follow us.
Oh, wow. I need to get better about Pinterest, like business wise. Like I use Pinterest a lot for like my brides, but
Yeah.
um oh my gosh, yeah. So that wedding just she called that bride called me. It was actually a vow renewal. I don't think people know
Oh,
that. I
I didn't know that.
it was actually a vow renewal. But it was a wedding. Like
Yeah.
her thing was it's a vow renewal, but I never had my dream wedding and I want to have it now.
Oh my God, so do
Um
I.
yeah, so it was like, "Yeah, girl, you do." She called me. I mean, I'll never I mean, I remember sitting on my couch one day and I got a call and she's like, "Hey, like, I'm planning this vow renewal. I found you on the knot. Like, you want to chat?" And I was like, at this point I was pretty new still too. And so I was like, "Sure, whatever." And we chatted and then she kind of like went off on her own for a while and I never heard from her. And then she came back and um but it was fun. It's about 2 hours outside of Atlanta
Mhm.
ish. So we stayed in the hotel, like we had a hotel room. It's beautiful. But weirdly enough, that venue is on a college campus.
No way.
hmm
What
It's on like
university?
a very small Christian university up in the mountains. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me.
Oh, it's so
Uh-huh.
pretty. Imagine
Yeah.
going to school there.
Yeah. It's on a university campus. And since it's Christian, the reception space. So you like there are other reception spaces you can get in that area if you wanted to just do your ceremony, which people just do their ceremonies there all the time. Like
I
it's
bet.
a huge elopement spot, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um, but if you have your reception at this venue, you can't have alcohol.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It's
I went to
alcohol.
I didn't know that, different counties in the South um are dry counties still. Like where my husband's from, it's a dry county. You have to drive to the next city to even buy alcohol. So I don't even know
Yeah.
how news like survive
I
like that.
mean, yeah, I mean, even this weekend for my wedding in Charleston, they drank vodka literally dry in the first like 2.5 hours. Sorry, we can't go to a liquor store at Sunday.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
hmm
that's the thing.
Yeah.
When I lived in Phoenix, I was like baffled by the liquor laws, and they're not necessarily like they're a West Coast state, so I guess they're a little more progressive, but not very much. And I
Yeah.
remember going to the grocery store, and there was liquor in the grocery store, and I was like, "What?" And you could buy fireworks at the grocery store too.
Yeah.
Seems a little
Yeah.
haphazard. You could go to Target and get like a bottle of Svedka. I was like, oh God."
I know. Ugh,
Um,
so weird.
Let me
Yeah.
look at our questions real quick.
You're good. No, so Dallas, tell me a little bit more about like your elopement and how you plan that and what do you think like one day, I mean, do you think you'll end up having like a different kind of wedding one day? Like what are your thoughts on
I
that?
think so. We still want to do like a celebration kind of thing with all of our
Yeah,
friends because we
we
did
should.
like so we eloped and I really didn't plan anything at all. Sarah found an officiant for me. We work with him all the time, but I was so new, I didn't know him. Shout out
Yeah.
to Eric. We did a podcast together and he told a story about a murder, so listen to that. Um,
Oh my
he
God.
was our officiant, and then I found a photographer on Instagram because, like I said, I had just moved there, and even though I had a list of photographers in front of me, I didn't know anyone, so I found this
Mhm.
girl who does really good like moody photos, which I loved. I really this sounds so bad, but I cared a lot about the pictures because I
Your
just like
pictures
if
are
I'm
cute.
thank you. I was like if I'm
Yeah.
gonna elope, I at least want like good photos. So we did like a courthouse situation and then signed the papers and
Wait,
took photos.
who was your photographer for your elopement again?
Kaylee Chandler. She's like,
Because I remember having a bride or something that was using that same photographer. I cannot remember,
really?
but I just remember your photos being on this girl's website.
Really? Oh my gosh, yeah, they are. I'm on
Uh,
the I was. I don't know if
I
I
know.
I think
I'll
she
never
does
forget.
travel a lot for weddings, so
Does
she does
she?
like, yeah, she like picks and chooses
Huh.
what she wants to do.
Weird. Okay, I cannot. If I think of why I saw that, I'll
Right,
let you
I
know.
know. Yeah, no, she's really sweet.
Um,
And then we got a cake. My sister was in town and she got me a cake. And I wanted to say, oops, we got married. And then the script that she chose, because she's a millennial, is like that calligraphy script, you know?
mm,
And I wanted it in like text. Anyway,
mhm.
I'm not holding a grudge, but I kind of am. Anyway, it looked like it said, oops, we got married because of the way that they wrote the R's. And I'll never
I never
forget that.
noticed
So I
that.
want to recreate that. And then like
Cute.
that's like the one that I was like, I'm not happy about that.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
can come
there's
to
like
Atlanta.
things, huh?
You can come to Atlanta and we'll plan your wedding here.
Yeah, we'll go to that waterfall on the Christian University campus.
Don't think we won't. No, that's so fun. I'm planning an elopement. Not even it's no, it's not an elopement. It's a true wedding, but like a small intimate wedding in Greece right now.
Oh,
I
whoa!
know we fly out. I was like looking at the date and I'm like, I literally fly out in like 2 months. Like
That's crazy.
um man, I kind of have some deep regret. I mean, not deep regret. I loved my wedding.
Yeah,
Like,
you had an amazing wedding. I
um,
had so much fun. I'm so glad I was even invited.
of
Um,
course.
it was so fun. I was gonna actually talk. We were gonna go into like more details about what I loved about your big day, but
Wait,
I think
actually, like, let's talk about that. So, what did you love about my big day? I'm just kidding. Um, no,
no,
I
I
was just
think
gonna
you really
say,
did. I loved your dress. I loved the time that you got married was very
me too.
it like I just loved that the sunset was happening during your ceremony. And
Yeah.
then you still had plenty of time to get photos afterwards
Yep.
and you had a little bit of time at cocktail hour. Your bar was amazing. I loved this was very like new. It's still new to me, but the fabric bar
Yeah.
sign and menu,
Yeah.
I loved I loved
Yeah.
that. It was
Me
so pretty.
too.
What else did I love? Oh, the food. Oh my God. The food was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And Peyton had to get freaking hurt and not come to my wedding. I'm just kidding.
Peyton, you just got called out for not being at her wedding.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I,
She said, I want you to go so bad. She really did. She could
oh, it's okay. I get it. I had such a blast. Like,
have.
I don't know. I mean, I had a blast.
I
I
loved the
just
DJ. We danced the night away. I ripped my dress. I was completely sober, by the way. I just loved to dance, and I went too hard. I ripped my dress in the
I
side.
love I was not completely sober at all. But it's okay because you're allowed to be
She
whatever you want to be on your
was.
wedding day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember dancing with you the most on my dance floor. And I'm not just saying that because we're on the podcast together. I really mean like other than
No,
like my husband, I
yeah,
remember dancing with you the most. So
yeah. I made sure of it. You were like, you had to bring. You were like, I just want everyone to dance. So I was like, fine, I'm gonna dance the
yeah.
whole night, and I did. And it was
Yeah.
great music too. He was playing Taylor Swift. He was playing like the club classics. He was playing
Well,
all
I really gave him well, granted, I will give Mikey Lee lots of credit, like but I did give him we did say, listen, like we have very specific music taste. Like and I
yeah.
told him, no country music. Do not play it at my wedding. Like I don't want
Oh,
it.
the default here for a lot of DJs is to play country during dinner, and
Yep.
it's like not the vibe. Like
Yep. Nope.
we had a couple weekends ago, a couple weekends ago, and they during dinner they just put on like chill music, and it was country, and I was like, this is so like read the room. It's not the vibe.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
wasn't
even
we worked with often, but
yeah. I mean, even my bride this past Saturday in Charleston, she like came up to me and she was like, can the country music be done now? Like, and I was like, yeah, girl, I gotta
we're
go.
like the only two that I feel like don't like country music, and I like some. Obviously, I'm from Texas, like. I like some music,
Yeah.
country music. It's like the new stuff that I don't like, the poppy country music.
Yeah. I'm just like, am I gonna? I'm more gonna want. I could just go on about this
No,
for a while.
okay, so can we talk about that for just a second? Post Malone, everyone was like, you need to do country music. And in my head, when I think of the country music that Post Malone would do, it'd be more moody. It'd be like Zach Bryan vibes or like
Hmm.
Orville Peck vibes. Like he just has a really unique voice, and I wanted him to do something cool country with that. So when everyone was like, do country music, that's what I expected. And then he puts out a pop song with Morgan Wallen. I was like, that's not what anyone asked for.
Well, Morgan won't. He can just fall off the side of the planet. I could care less. I'm sorry. Which luckily I will say, like, I a lot of people here are the same way. Like, it's you're
Yeah.
not a country's just not. That's just it's just not. I mean, obviously, it's like rap and R&B's here. Like I'm going to a Bryson Tiller concert in June.
That's so fun. You know
Yeah,
who's I think he might have already come to he was either going to Raleigh or Charlotte, I can't remember. But
yeah,
21 Savage was in town. And I
yeah,
wanted to go. I think I had a wedding or I have a wedding. I can't remember if he's here or if he's already been here, but I wanted to go so bad because that's my favorite rapper. And Jake
yeah,
and I's
yeah.
like, yeah, our like song is a 21 Savage song, and we
Love
listened
that.
to. We just had our 1 year anniversary, and we were on our way back from dinner, and I was like,
Aw.
oh, I know what we need to play, and I played that song. Um,
But heck yeah, he's from Atlanta.
I know everyone's
Um,
from Atlanta. Everyone I love is from Atlanta, Atlanta or Houston.
so
Like, it's gonna hold it down.
yeah, so like when you have concerts here, like there's a good chance they're gonna surprise you with other guests. And so because all of them are here.
Yeah,
Majority of them are here. Other than like a lot of the West Coast are like, you know, Houston
whatever.
people. But yeah, so Bryson Tiller's coming in June, I'm going, and like I love Victoria Monet and like she's also from Atlanta and they have that song together. Well, they have a couple songs together. And I'm like, I really need her to be like
I
coming
would
out.
cry if I saw
And
her.
yeah.
She's an angel.
So but yeah, big R&B person, which is why I love Atlanta because most people are
Yeah, capital of
understanding.
R&B, literally. If you could
Yeah,
trade, if you could trade your franchise location with anyone else, where would it be?
Chicago or Tampa. So I wanted not that I wanted the Tampa location. When Justin got his job in Atlanta, we wanted to move to Tampa. That's where we
Oh,
wanted to
really?
go. Mhm. Yeah, like we were applying like crazy to Florida. Like we wanted to be in Florida.
Yeah.
And so I always joked with Justin that my 10-year goal was going to be to buy Tampa and have two locations and then Carolina buy, which if I could give it to anybody in the world, I would want to give it to Caroline. So like so happy for
Yeah.
her. Um, and maybe one day I'll go work for her full time and I'll let somebody else run Atlanta.
Shut up.
Um, but yeah, or Chicago. I do love Chicago. Like I love that city and I also just love Lauren, but I love that city so much. I have a really good friend that lives up there and I used to go to Chicago all the time. But yeah, the other ones I'm not like Nashville. Mm-mm. Can y'all see me in Nashville? No.
I couldn't see you in Nashville, that's for sure, especially with the country music situation. I could see you
Yeah.
maybe in Dallas, but I feel like you're just not a Texas girl.
No, I'm not.
You'd be icked out by all the Texas pride, and there is still a good amount of like country. Like you'd be doing a lot of boonies weddings, and boonies in Texas is not the same kind of beauty as boonies in South Carolina or
No.
Georgia or something. Like people here are like, oh, I live in the middle of nowhere and it's beautiful and green and gorgeous. And then people from Texas that are like, I live in the middle of nowhere. They live 30 miles outside of town on an oil rig with brown grass all around them because it's so dry there. Um,
Yeah.
I recently went back to Texas. That's why I'm not a hater. I just I wouldn't live there again.
I would never. And can I just be honest? Can I just say something and I mean you're from Texas, but like I think what annoys me the most about Texas is like how much people from Texas worship Texas. I'm like it is just not that great. Like you cannot convince me it's that great.
The thing
Like
is, and I like obviously I moved away from Texas, but there's some kind of like rage in me that just ignited when you said that. It's like bred into me. Did you know we pledge to the Texas flag every morning, just like you do the American flag?
that's so
Like you
fun.
have
I
to
mean I
pledge to the Texas flag first, and
yeah.
then yeah, like that's how run deep it was. I don't think I had Texas history until like fourth grade. I didn't know anything else about the rest of the country until fourth grade.
That is
Like,
so crazy to me.
isn't that crazy?
That
They
is.
breed it deep. And I like I said, I'm not even the most Texan, but I have some kind of like defense for it. Like I can talk shit about it, but no one else can.
I get it. I think if I like moved to Texas though, I think the only place I'd probably go is like Austin. But
Yeah.
honestly, like if I could go anywhere, I would probably go like I mean, I would really love like California somewhere. Like I can see me.
Really?
I can see me
Really?
out there. I'm just like
I
I don't
love the
know, like
West.
I yeah, me too.
I'm not a big
Um,
California girl, but I do love the West Coast. Like I love Oregon, I love Washington.
yeah,
I really thrive with rainy weather. Like I feel like I have the
me
opposite of
too.
seasonal depression. When it's
Me
sunny
too.
and hot outside, I'm depressed, and then when it's raining
Yes.
and cold, I'm like, yeah, like
I am
top of.
the same. I'm the same way. I hate the hot and sunny. I'm like, well, as I say here, I'm like, I wanted to move to Florida.
Literally.
We really wanted to move to Florida for Disney World. And Justin's work. I mean, what he does is it's the best in
Yeah.
Florida, or like California or Texas.
Maybe you'll marry someone
Which we're
and
never
you
gonna
should
move to
in
Texas.
California.
Yeah, well, no. But no, I feel like it takes a special gal to take on Atlanta. So I'm glad they got
It
the
does,
job.
and you're the gal. You're doing it,
Yeah.
and you're killing. Do you have any
And
stories from Atlanta that take the cake?
I'll never okay, I'll tell you this one time. I'll never forget like if you've been first off, can I say this? I was in Charleston this weekend and I think I have bad luck in Charleston because the two weddings I've worked there have just been crazy. But I had to get between a florist and a venue coordinator and like break them up from yelling at each other this weekend.
No way.
Yeah, I have a video. I can send it to you
Yeah, please
because
do.
it wasn't like me trying to video them, but like
Yeah.
Alyssa texted me because I was working at one of Alyssa's venues, right? And she's like, "Show me the tent," and I'm like, "I'm taking a video like this," not knowing they were like screaming. And so, when I'm hearing screaming, I'm thinking like, "Okay," and I'm like coming over and looking at them, like they're yelling at each other. So like, shut my phone down really quick, and, like walk over there. Um,
Oh my God. What were they
but
even arguing about?
um, that's a whole story. But moving a car,
Oh, oh my God. That's
yeah.
ridiculous. It's always silly
It,
stuff like that. It's the
it's
little
so
stuff
dumb,
that
but
blows up.
I don't feel like in Atlanta I mean, I think probably a certain band having my bride crying in the broom closet was probably the peak for me.
What?
Yeah.
What they do?
I mean, play like all of her do not play. It was a whole thing I can tell you about later. But um also
This is amazing.
I remember I did a wedding at the Fox Theater, which I still have not gotten those photos back. I need to get on that. I did a wedding at the Fox Theater here, which is like I mean, like our Broadway here, you know? And it's like downtown Atlanta, like not in the greatest area on some level.
Yeah.
And I was the bride and groom were not from Atlanta. And I was standing outside with the bride and groom talking after our walkthrough. And this
Mhm.
like basically butt naked, like homeless guy, like came up to us. It was like, what are you whores doing? Yeah, you whores. Like was like all up in our face. And we were just like standing there, like, and I looked at him and I
Oh
was like,
my
he was
God.
like, he was like cussing us out. We're just standing there. And I'm like, welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Because
Honestly,
that,
that would happen in Austin. Like we were talking about Austin earlier, that would absolutely happen
yeah.
in Austin. That is hilarious.
It's like,
Um,
oh, welcome to Atlanta. That's what you get. That's what you get when
yeah,
you come
there
here.
you go. There's a good example. That's
Um,
good.
but I guess like one of the things I wanted to ask you because I like to know this. I think it's fun to learn because like even in Charleston this weekend, I think the challenges there are so different than the challenges in Atlanta. And I was even telling Alyssa that
Yeah.
like I think Alyssa and Charleston has, and I feel like probably Myrtle's a lot of the same ways. Like they have to think about so many different things and like what I have to think about. Like I feel like a lot of my venues have like ice on site and things like that. Like just things where I just, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But what are like some of the bigger challenges about Myrtle Beach and maybe things you don't like about weddings there and maybe even things
Yeah.
that you love about weddings there?
I think the biggest thing is always weather here, and I feel like y'all
Yeah.
get the same kind of thing too with a lot of rain and a lot of stuff, but we also are on the coast. So like hurricane season is like definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Wind, we have the sea breeze, and wind is always something we have to think about. Like all and it's like a full-time job to have someone babysit the tent after it's set up until we get detail shots. It's like, okay, the linens are blowing off, keep putting them back on, keep putting them back on. And I know I was in Hilton Head helping Hannah a few weeks, other Hannah, oh wait, Sarah, sorry, there's so many
Mhm.
of us. helping
Yeah.
Sarah, and she also had our Dallas owner Michelle helping with her, and she was at a different wedding, and Michelle was like, "Yeah, I'm not meant for the coast because she was having to deal with wind, and that's not something she has to deal with in Texas." So it's like, I think that's
Mhm.
one of the biggest ones. That and just island time. There's not a lot of hustle and like getting back to people is not as fast. Like the
Yeah.
city life is very fast paced, and I enjoy that. And here it's a lot more. I always tell my clients that are from up north because we do get a lot of people from like Maryland, New York, Rhode Island,
Yeah.
all of those northern states. They come down here a lot, and I have to tell them like just so you know, like some people are on island time, and also it's like peak season, so just know
Yep.
that it might not that we might not I'll be here. I'll email you back, but not everyone will right on time. So those are like the
Yep.
two biggest. Is like there's not it's island time and it's wind.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I had the wind in Charleston this week. But I will say too though, there's a city wind here. So I get a lot of
Yeah,
city
yeah,
wind.
like a ton of it.
Um like a lot of rooftop wind, things like that. So,
What is your
but
other
there's
like biggest every wedding it happens and it's just like inevitable?
sorry you froze. What'd you say?
Oh, I said what's yours? What's your like biggest challenge in Atlanta?
What's my biggest challenge in life? Parking.
Oh, I
Parking.
didn't think about that. Do y'all do transportation for a lot of your guests because of that? Or for a lot of your
Kinda.
clients? Or do people like insist on driving and parking?
They still insist parking. The amount of money I pay in vendor parking is ridiculous. And like
Yeah.
the amount of communication that I have to give to vendors about parking and loading in and how to load in and what time to load in and like parking.
Yeah,
Parking is really, really hard here.
I can totally
Um,
see that. I bet Chicago has a similar issue too of like you have to
absolutely.
draw people maps, and I know we do that sometimes. Like draw maps of where to go and what
Hmm.
time to get there.
Yeah. Parking and just like load in general. Like if you're downtown, you got one tiny service elevator for all of the vendors. And like,
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
yeah. And so some of these brides are like, I want all of this setup. And it's like, you're going to have to buy more setup time from the venue because like we physically cannot get it in the time that they're allotting us. Like it won't happen.
Yeah, or you're gonna get a pretty big labor charge too, I bet, if there's stairs involved or if there's a
Yeah.
mini elevator that people can't just like bring everything up all at once. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
City life, well.
Yeah. But I think the one thing I love about Atlanta and one thing I knew I was going to get to bring to the table with Atlanta, which makes me just so happy, and coming from a social work background, is I have so much diversity here. So
Yes.
much. I've
You get like
done,
a lot of different cultures there that you
mhm,
get some Indian weddings here and there, but it's not nearly as I feel like that and there's just so many different like types of weddings that you can get and ours are very traditional for the most part.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's been so fun. Like, I did a full Hispanic wedding, and then the next weekend, I had a traditional Vietnamese tea ceremony. And that
Oh,
Saturday, we had the
cool.
traditional Jewish ceremony. And then, like, I just booked a Nigerian wedding. I
Whoa,
have
that's cool.
yeah, I have a wedding at the end of May. It's all Indian. So I'm doing like their Sangeet, like all of that kind of stuff. I'm doing all of that with them. And so he's Indian, she's not. And so like she's doing the traditionalized American wedding and then they're also doing the Indian. So like I get to be a part of the full like 3-day event weekend.
Wow.
Um my couple this weekend, he's Lebanese. So like yeah, so his family's like all Lebanese. Yeah, so like I literally I have a lot of like mixed race couples. I've had a lot of different Asian weddings, African American weddings, um
I love
Jewish.
that's
Like
really
yeah,
cool because I like getting to learn other people's traditions, especially with wedding
yeah,
traditions, because I mean, obviously some of them are older than time is. Like, I had my first Jewish wedding a few weeks ago, and it was so
yeah,
fun. Like, they had the hora,
yeah,
and they had like so many different little traditions, and they had break the glass, and in my head, and I remember texting you, or maybe I called you, and I was like, "So this glass, like, like, is it something I'm gonna need to talk to the venue about?" And you're like, "No, usually it's in a bag." I was like, "Oh, slay, okay." So
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
like brought it was literally a light bulb in a bag, and they smashed the light bulb, and then
yeah,
it's the dances
yeah.
that they did, and then this past weekend
Yes,
at Caroline's wedding, there was a what were they Polish, and they did like a polka dance. That was cool.
fun. I
But yeah,
love that.
I just love getting to know other people's cultures, and then when
Me
you visit,
too.
you
It's so
get a
fun.
piece of
It's
yeah.
It's so fun. And people are like, "Do you have any problems like doing this culture wedding?" I'm like, "No, bring it on." Like I literally love it. Like
Yeah,
so yeah, no, yeah. I think we did the Jewish wedding the same weekend.
we did, we
I think
did. I think we did. It's our little
yeah.
twin wedding.
My poor bride during her hora, I thought they were gonna drop that poor girl.
Oh, girl,
But
mine, Hannah. Shout out to Hannah. Her name was Hannah. She was so cute, and she was very tiny and petite, like
mhm,
super. She was short and just very petite, and she had on like a strapless. She changed into a really cute short dress, and all
mhm.
I was thinking when they got her up there was, okay, keep your legs together the best you can, and two, hold on for dear life. Like, thankfully, the guys lifting them held her ankles, but her butt literally came out of her seat multiple times, and I was scared for my life. And she was too. You can see it on her face. But like once
I
it got
was
going, she had fun.
I will my groom he's Jewish. He was very buff, like he's a large
Yeah.
guy. And so I thought they thought so hard about him that like they kind of like forgot about the bride because she was, she's a little bit more petite. So they were like hoisting him up, like whoo, whoo. And then this poor girl, they're like literally tipping her forward. She's like holding on for her life. And so she's Vietnamese, and so her mom is Vietnamese, and so her mom gets up there. She's obviously never done a horror, probably never even imagined she was ever going to do one. And they are literally like tossing her out of the chair, and she's like, "Oh, oh!" Like she was like freaking out. And I was like, "Y'all need to let her down. Like take her down. Like she doesn't want to
Put
be up
mom
there.
down.
Yeah,
She
put
doesn't want to be
mom down. Like this poor woman." Anyway,
so
but it
funny.
was
Oh my
it was a good time. But
God.
yeah, well. Love it. Love Atlanta. Love all the fun.
Everyone
You
hit
need to
up
come
Hannah
work a wedding
Atlanta.
with me. You
Follow
need to come
her
work a
on
wedding
her.
with me.
Yeah, I will. I
Yeah.
will. I need to. Just whenever you need me, let me know. And if I don't have a
I needed
wedding,
you this weekend, but it's fine. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Anytime.
Okay. We got some good ones, um, but yeah, you can.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast this morning.
Mhm.
Um,
Thank you for having me.
follow Hannah, contact Hannah. She's on our website, of course. Um, any other plugs you want? Any other your personal Instagram? I don't know if you have people follow that.
Please
We
don't
don't
follow my
plug.
personal Instagram. One thing, if you know me, is I'm not a social media girly. I suck at it. I even suck at S&B Instagram. I suck at reposting. Don't
Oh
follow
my
me.
god!
Follow S&B. You can go check out my
Subscribe!
team on the. You can go check out my team on the website now because we have our.
Yay!
Yeah. Yay! So it's
Love
actually
it.
not even my full team either.
I
um,
love it.
but yeah,
Okay, well, thank
no,
you again, and
yeah.
everyone subscribe, and see you next week.
See you next time. Thank you so much, Dallas. Love you.
Love you.